Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Booney, and I'm currently a senior and the vice president of the Sport Management Association here at Robert Morris University. The American Marketing Association and the Sport Management Association have combined to deliver you this awesome panel of recent graduates and people that have a lot of experience in the industry already. And this is titled Emerging Issues in Sport Marketing. So with the changing fan demographics as well as new media technologies for sport viewing, sport organizations are continually evolving to meet these challenges. Our panelists from the collegiate and professional sport ranks will discuss their organization's practices and strategies with meeting these issues. So now, let's have each of our panelists briefly introduce themselves with a summary of their professional experiences.
I guess I will go first. I'm Chris Bain. I'm with the University of Pittsburgh. I am the Assistant Athletic Director for Marketing. Coming up on almost 3 years at the university. I am from upstate New York, graduated from the University at Albany for undergrad, went to graduate school for my master's in sports management at the University of New Haven, where as I was getting my master's, I got a full-time job as a ticket sales account executive for a minor league baseball team. So I worked full-time, then went to school full-time. I have a kind of wide range of experience from college athletics. I went to Bowling Green State University after the minor league baseball team, then went to the University of Central Florida for about 2 years, where we started up the first in-house ticket sales department modeled after the pro model. After that, I was out in LA for almost 5 years with the Los Angeles Kings and AEG, worked at the Staples Center, and the Home Depot Center, where I managed a sales staff. Was out there for about, like I said, 4 or 5 years. Following that, moved back to the East Coast to start up what is now IMG Learfield Ticket Solutions, which helps a bunch of colleges with a ticket sales model. And then now I'm here at Pitt. So, like I said, have kind of a wide range of professional and collegiate sports, and very happy to be here. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole-Rudy. I work for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the ticket sales department. I've been with the organization for 10 years. I started the day after we drafted Sidney Crosby, so I've been through the ups and downs of the organization. Recently, I just got charged with starting up and supporting, managing our part-time sales staff. That will have about 5 people starting working for us on a part-time basis. So I'll be overseeing that. I actually graduated from Robert Morris in 2005. Prior to attending Robert Morris, I went to Bowling Green in Ohio and was there for about 2.5 years before I transferred over. Interned with the Toledo Storm over there, did a little bit of everything, and then when I came to Robert Morris, I helped Marty Galosi and start up the NCAA men's and women's ice hockey programs over here and did the marketing and everything for him.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex Hinsey. I work here at Robert Morris University in the athletic department, so you may recognize me a little bit. My educational background, I went to the University of Pittsburgh for undergrad, and I continued on at Pitt and got my MBA. My professional work experience, I started out working in minor league baseball as an intern. I interned for 2 years there and credit a lot of my marketing experience to that. We were doing a lot of grassroots marketing there where we're kind of out in the public trying to get people to come to our games, so I credit a lot of my experience to that. From there, I went to work for the Pittsburgh Pirates for 3 years. I worked in their ticket office, so a lot of my background is in ticket sales and marketing that way. And I continued on. I worked in the Pitt athletic department for about 6 months before going full-time for my MBA. And I've been at Robert Morris now for 1.5 years. Hard to believe.
Hey guys, I'm Dan Millar, manager of promotions with the Pittsburgh Pirates. This will be my 12th season with the organization. I've had maybe the easiest road, maybe the most basic road. When I was a student here, I was working at Dick's Sporting Goods out at Robinson. Met the former GM of the Pirates, Dave Littlefield, asked him for an internship. Didn't think it would happen. Ended up working out. 2 months later, had the internship. And I was promised a full-time job June of that year, even before I graduated here, so I guess I had the easy path. My title's manager of promotions. I don't do the cool promotional item giveaways. I guess the only promotion that I do is fireworks at nights. But a lot of the things that I do handle are all the pregame and postgame events. Anything that entertains the fans, it interacts and ties our team, as well as we can. So, I think that's about it. That's me. That's me in a nutshell. So.
On a day-to-day basis, describe what you do and how do you relate these activities to in the area of marketing and selling your organization or team to fans. What do you like best about your job, and what are some challenges and frustrations that you face?
Day-to-day basis, being on the special events side of things, everything that I do is geared towards our fans. Everything, like I said, all the pre, in, and post-game events, every decision is made with our fans' best interest. So if you guys have ever been to a game, anything that you've enjoyed outside of the ballpark, our block parties that we have out there, we have our kids zone on Sundays. In-game, all of our inning break activities, tying in our sponsorships as well. Again, making sure that our fans are engaged. One of the things that I do oversee for the organization is our mascot program, which may create some chuckles here. I'm in charge of a green furry bird. But we send them out over 330 times a year, and that's a brand within a brand, and that's something that not many people have the opportunity to see behind the scenes of what goes on. But it's nice that when we send them out somewhere, there may be 200-300 people that we're targeting with his appearance that are going to be future fans, especially with the kids. So other day-to-day activities, again, like I said, fireworks nights, all of our post-game concerts. So there's not a day that goes by that I don't do a little SWOT analysis over how it's going to impact our fans, to make sure that we're fine-tuned and buttoned up. So that's my day-to-day.
Yeah, I'd say for me working here at Robert Morris, the one thing, there isn't a typical day. Every day is its own challenge and its own unique thing. Whether we're working in the summer when we're trying to set up our promotional ideas and the giveaways that we want to do and creating new ways to get fans to come to games, or whether we're trying to actually be on the phones, making calls, trying to sell tickets for our sporting events, nothing is ever kind of the same. So right now I'd say we're gearing up, getting ready for our postseason for a lot of our sports. One of the big things on our mind is how we can get fans to hopefully what we'll host is a women's basketball game on March 6th or a men's hockey series over spring break. We know it's going to be a challenge getting students there. So what can we do to market those games to really try and get people to come out and support the programs? The one thing I love the most about my job is that no day is the same. Every day is a new challenge, and we try and step up and try and figure out ways to motivate and draw people to our games because the RMU brand is growing, and we're very lucky for that. The big challenge I could say for us in a marketing capacity this year was we do a lot of giveaways, as I'm sure you know, for T-shirts, and we did these cool jersey giveaways this year. And the one big challenge that we face a lot is students get free tickets to sporting events. So a lot of times they'll come to the games, they'll take their jersey, and they'll leave. They won't even stay for the game. So we came up with creative ways to try and ensure that students are staying for at least half the game by not giving out giving out vouchers, so to speak, instead of giving out the jersey right away. So that's why a creative challenge that we kind of had to overcome this year, and we're kind of trying to continue to grow in those capacities.
I'm going to sort of reiterate what Alex said. Part of the best thing about working in sports is every day is going to be different, and it is a different challenge, different experiences each day, day in and day out. Even with being with the Penguins for 10 years, everything is different each season to season. Currently, we're gearing up for the playoffs, so right now our days are dealing with our season ticket holders, people wanting to renew, wanting to cancel, wanting to relocate. We also still have remainder of the season we have to worry about, so we're selling individual game tickets, our premium inventory, and our group inventory. One thing different about the Penguins organization as compared to other professional sports organizations is we actually have a sales staff of about 6 people. We don't have a premium department, a group department, and just a ticket sales department. We are in charge of selling every item that is in that building. We have corporate sales that handles our sponsorships, but other than that, it's all on us as a staff of 5-6 people. If that building doesn't sell out, it's on us. So we're constantly looking for new ways to intrigue people to coming. One of the biggest things that's out there is that we are sold out for every game. And While that is primarily the case, we do still have tickets remaining, whether it be through Ticket Exchange, which is our secondary market, or through our offices. So that's something we do try to overcome year to year and day to day. And then on a daily basis, like I said, I have my own base of season ticket holders that I am in charge of handling. I have about 800 accounts that I manage. And then I do have to sell the group tickets, the premium tickets. I have to make sure everybody is all set with those. On a game night, I have to visit those people, make sure they're happy and they want to come back. So it's not just you sell them your tickets and you wash your hands of them. You are sitting there with them from the moment they first talk to you until their event is over. And then you have to follow up and bring them back the next year. So.
You know, our department and team, our main responsibilities in marketing, you know, specifically myself, I oversee all of our advertising for all 19 sports for the department. And that's kind of evolved over the past couple of years, you know, to a lot less TV and radio and more to digital, as you can imagine. So we've been spending a lot of time on, you know, focusing on those numbers and trying to, you know, take a look at our ROI, and that's going to be ever changing, you know, from year to year. Another major area of focus is game presentation. We at Pitt are very, very involved with game presentation, and I think one of the great parts about the game presentation, at least from a fan's, and I'll use Nicole and Dan as examples, is, you know, when I go to a Pirates game or when I go to a Penguins game now, I'm not really paying attention to the actual game. That kind of stinks in a way because, you know, if you're paying for a ticket, that's why I like to get free tickets. But you know, my job now when I go to is trying to find out what promotions are they doing, what sponsorship you know, activation are they doing, whether it's on the video board. You know, even with ticket sales, you know, sometimes, you know, when I was, you know, out in LA working with the Kings, I'd go to a Dodgers game and with a pad of paper and writing down all the group names that they were scrolling on board, welcoming, you know, these groups, you know, because those were free leads. But, you know, right now, and I have the opportunity, because I really haven't had a focus or a major background in game presentation, is to see all of the blood, sweat, and tears and time that goes into putting on a event, to put on a game. Everything from, you know, timelines and communicating with our video production staff, to, you know, the music, to organizing promotions and, you know, communicating with the cheer and band and, you know, all the stuff that has to go into it. You know, I give my staff and, you know, a lot of credit, and certainly I have much larger respect for everyone that's involved in that. You know, and then there's also the fan engagement, you know, side of things. And, you know, for us, and Alex can probably relate to this as well, is, you know, we kind of have two areas that we're focused on. We're focused on the general fan, but then we're also focused on our students. And specifically for us at Pitt, you know, last night, for example, an unfortunate outcome, but one of our major focus was, you know, not only getting our fans there, but also making sure that we have a great student attendance and a student crowd. Because when the Oakland Zoo is, you know, lively and are jumping around, that impacts, you know, the experience that the fans are having. And if they're having a good time, and they are more likely to come back again. Same thing with football. You know, as far as, you know, the best, you know, part about my job, you know, a couple things. I love working with our student athletes. I love being around our student body as well. We take great pride in, you know, reaching out to our students and getting feedback from them on what they want to, you know, want to see at games, rather than us just kind of, you know, thinking what they, you know, oh, we'll do this promotion because, you know, we want to do it, not necessarily because the students want to do it. And I also don't look at our job in sports, I don't look at it as a job. And, you know, it's a career in sports, and I'm sure all of you guys can relate. I mean, it's a lot of long hours. It's a lot of weekends, a lot of not seeing your family. I had my daughter at the women's game on Sunday. We had Pink to Peterson, and I had her, she's 4 years old, by the way. I was having her laying out the Zoo Newses around, the student section, putting her to work because, that's at least family time for us right now in a busy, season. So, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a great opportunity to really be involved in sports and be doing something that you really enjoy so much that when you wake up in the morning, it's not, oh, I have to go to work today. It's, hey, I got to go to work today.
What and how would you go about in providing advice for undergraduate students to prepare for and entering the area of sport marketing? Where would you anticipate a growth and opportunities for graduating students?
I talked a lot that last time. I apologize.
That's all right, more than I do, so that's good. Two things. The biggest things, especially for me, actually I guess it would be three. Strong work ethic. It doesn't mean just getting done with what you're tasked to do. That's going above and beyond. Coupled with that would be great communication skills. Believe it or not, I don't think I speak that well, but I had that Yinzer type accent. I know, yeah, you just laughed. Yeah, so I was like that when I first started. If that's anybody or in this room, that's okay. You'll get better. I think I kind of improved upon that as well. Kind of helps communicating with our fans in a more positive manner than sounding like. We'll just leave it at that. Let it go. Another thing is common sense. Having common sense, I always say that's about half the battle at work. Once you get there, if you have common sense, you'll do very well. I can't tell you how many times I see it, both with interns, current former staff members. If you have common sense, you take care of the little things with the common sense, big things take care of themselves. So again, I can't stress how important it is to have a strong work ethic. That's my advice. That's what I've been doing. That's how I got my job. I was the one putting in the long hours. No one forced me to stay. I wanted to be there. I wanted to put in the long hours. I wasn't there thinking, wow, it's only 1 o'clock. I have to stay here till 5. It's always, what else can I do? And that goes a long way, especially with your managers in sports. That when they see that, they know that's a type of person that they want to keep on board because you're dedicated to the process and in the organization as well. So growth opportunities. I've been seeing it, especially with our organization. We used to use an outside company to do a lot of our marketing, advertising, and events. We're doing that all in-house now. So we have some, especially in today's society, social media is huge. A lot of teams are hiring 1, maybe 2 people in charge of their social media accounts. Graphic design is another area, especially to get into like the minor leagues. The sport management degree coupled with even a small little background of graphic design knowledge can go a long way. A lot of teams will see, you may see like a director of marketing position. You think you're just going to be sitting there on top of the world not having to do anything, but that position is the one creating all the flyers, all the ads, all the sales materials. So having that graphic design experience is on the plus, and that's another area where we're seeing it. And also video production is huge. All of our commercials for the Pirates are done in-house with our scoreboard guys, and we have our head video production person that does everything in-house. So it's a cost saver, obviously, to the organization. You think of how much ads cost and to produce, that everything's done in-house and internally, and you get it a lot quicker too. Shorter deadlines, and when we have the staff internally, it really helps. So those would be the areas that I think for today's society would be something that would help grow.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, or my best advice for you would be to really get involved and get involved early. Find an internship opportunity or find anything that you can do to get the experience, and not just one skill set, but a wide variety of skill sets. I know my first internship in minor league baseball, and it sounds crazy, but we would work 100 hours a week, and I worked for $200 a week, in that stipend, but I wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world because it got me to where I am today. I did marketing, I did ticket sales, I worked in the box office. There's so many different intangibles that I learned from that job that helped me transition to my future jobs. So my big advice is really to get involved and find opportunities. And you're very fortunate here at Robert Morris University. We don't have a large athletic department. We're always looking for help. And a perfect example is Ryan Booney over there started as one of our just marketing basketball interns, and now he's a huge help. And
We're only 20 minutes in, Alex. You already mentioned my name.
Sorry, I had to give him a shout out at some point, but yeah, and I mean, we rely on our students a lot, whether, you know, you're working in a game day operations capacity, but we couldn't do the things that we do without your help. So, you know, get involved and find ways to, you know, really gain that experience so that way you'll stand out on your resume. I guess the big area where I'm seeing growth, and I think the area that I'm going to look a lot into this off season, is social media. I don't think we do a good enough job here at Robert Morris University, you know, really publicizing a lot of the different events that we have going on campus. And that goes beyond just, you know, the sports that we ticket for, which is what a lot of my focus is. But I think we can do a lot better job of really engaging students and getting you guys to feel like you're really a part of what's going on here and the athletic push that we have at Robert Morris University.
One of the things I would definitely tell you guys, and I'm surprised none of you guys actually mentioned this yet, is networking. In regards to the internships, yeah, networking is huge. Take these events, take this panel discussion today, take the sport management conference in October, make as many contacts as you can. Keep in touch with those people, because the sports world is very small, and we all talk. I've talked to other Robert Morris grads who have made contacts with students, and they have taken those students under their wings and shown them the ropes, and they've hired them on. So definitely take advantage of us up here and any alumni or people you come in contact with. I actually got my job through a regular at my previous job. Told me the Penguins were hiring. I didn't even know. We were still in the lockout. And I was like, yeah, right, they're not hiring. They're not even starting yet. I got hired. I had my first interview before they even announced that the lockout was over. I had my second interview and my final interview 2 days after they dropped the ping pong ball for Sidney Crosby, and I started that following Monday. So all because of my one contact, I got my job. So take advantage of us. You never know who we can put you in contact with. Another thing is make sure you're a team player. Make sure that you can communicate with all sorts of different personalities. Within my ticketing department, we have some very strong personalities that ruffle a lot of feathers, and you just sort of have to take it in stride and not let it get to you. You're around these people a lot, 40 plus hours a week. They become your second family. We celebrate with each other at the Penguins. We, you know, anything that happens, we are there for each other, and that's definitely a huge thing. I know Chris over here had sort of acknowledged that too. You guys you don't see your family as much, so your work family becomes your family. Also, make sure that you do go above and beyond. Don't just say, okay, these are what they tell me, this is the duties they assign to me. Go over and above those duties. Show them that you're interested and that you want to prove yourself when you're in an internship or even just volunteering. Showing interest and asking what else you can do will help you get so far in this business. And then as for future growth, I would have to definitely say social media. Our social media department over the last 6 months has doubled in size. We started off with 2 people, and now we're up to 4. They have interns that are working around the clock as well. They're tweeting and Instagram, Snapchat, everything. And they help drive a lot of the interest in our team, I believe. We have that, and then I think no matter what, don't just pigeonhole yourself into an area either. Don't say, okay, I'm just gonna go social media, that's where I wanna start, that's where I wanna be, or I wanna go marketing. You guys have to be open to different opportunities. You might work in a box office for a couple of years, and then another position might open up, and they might think of you and hire you for that next position. So don't be closed-minded when you're starting to look for internship opportunities or those first couple of experiences right out of school.
I'll echo everything that they've said. You know, I think one of the great areas or opportunities to break into sports is in ticket sales. I mean, if you look online at, some of the popular websites like, Teamwork Online, or even if you go to, NCAA.org or, any of those other jobs, even on LinkedIn or anything like that, I mean, the most amount of entry-level jobs are in ticket sales. And I probably would guess in here 99.9% of you guys are probably saying, yeah, that's not for me. I don't want to be doing ticket sales for 10 years. But that's the best way to break into sports. Nicole mentioned about like an inside sales, department that she's starting up. I mean, that's where it starts. And even it could be an undergrad or graduate opportunities, since a lot of the time it is part-time, it is an hourly wage. And that kind of goes into my next point is to be patient and realize that, in 1, 2, 3 years, you're not going to be at a director level or, I'm not saying to lower your expectations or anything or to lower your drive, but, it does take time. There's people in, executive level positions that, have been in a previous position for, 5, 10 years until they got to the next step. So, that's why I said, just be patient, put your head down, and keep, trying to find out how you can separate yourself from the person, sitting next to you, in front of you. And then the other thing that I would say too is don't be afraid to take risks. Dan mentioned about, he asked someone for, an internship on the spot and ended up getting it. Kind of the same thing there is, don't be afraid to ask, but don't be afraid to take risks, and don't be afraid to fail too. I took a risk when I went to Bowling Green, didn't really know anybody there. I lived in a hotel that, I was getting paid $1,000 a month after, rent at the hotel and everything else. I was pretty much banking like $40 a month. And, I like to tell this story because I'm really proud of it because, it got me to where I am today. But, I was even using my car. You can probably appreciate how cold it gets in Bowling Green. I didn't have a refrigerator in my hotel room, so I used my car as my refrigerator. And there was, mornings I woke up and, it was frozen solid. So, there was, but, hey, it wasn't ideal at the time, but it, definitely got me to where I am now. And then as far as opportunities, certainly the social media is definitely an opportunity. I go back to, I think, what Dan said, but as far as video production, content is king right now. I mean, that is specifically for us at Pitt. It's not only fan engagement content that we're looking to produce, but it's all of our head coaches that are coming to us and saying, hey, I need this in order to recruit the best talent for not just football, not just basketball, but volleyball and, soccer's. So, when you have 19 sports and you have 19 head coaches that are saying, hey, we need these videos, we need these recaps, we need these highlight videos to be out there so that we can, pump that out to our potential recruits. That is definitely an area of ours that is expanding. Last year, we were doing maybe 2 or 3 videos a week. I mean, now we're probably doing 10 or 12. So, definitely a great opportunity there. So if you're savvy behind the camera, in front of the camera, on the computer with graphic design, that's definitely an opportunity for you as well.
The emerging market challenges in the industry has been changing demographics, especially with the emergence of millennial generation, the application integration of technology and social media platforms of fan engagement, sponsorship activation, the increasing competition in the marketplace for fan discretionary entertainment dollar and time constraints. What proactive strategies might you discuss to anticipate them?
For the Pirates specifically, one of the things we're looking into is like a season pass type thing. It would only cover April and May type games, but for a flat fee. So for students in this room, it may be, say, $99 a month, and you can go to every single game in April and May Pirates game, with the exception of some of our high demand games, opening days, stuff like that. what would then happen is you'd be sent a message, either text or through social media. Again, it's very preliminary stages here. That it would just ask you, you come to the game tonight? You would just reply yes or no, and if you say yes, you'd get emailed a ticket. It would be for a standing room only, and then once you enter the gate, based on availability, it would either be a grandstand or a lower bowl seat. There's some other MLB teams that are doing this, or that are looking into doing this, and we think it's a great way to try to engage the younger crowd. Because once you get to the ballpark, it's more than just a game, and that's, I guess, my job here is all the entertainment in and around it. So it's just getting everybody there, and then to have a good time. The other thing that we have is MLB has the ballpark app, so everything, so the ticket would actually, I guess, be sent through the ballpark app. But the app kind of stores all your tickets, shows you the ballpark amenities. There's other upgrading ticket capabilities in there. As well as different experiences that you can take part of, like this year on September 24th, give ourselves a little plug here. September 24th, we have Hunter Hayes doing a post-game concert on the field, and we'll probably have some experiences where people can actually come onto the field and watch the concert right from second base. So that's with the ballpark app. So again, those are two of the things that we're trying to do to target the market.
Yeah, I'd say here at Robert Morris, we have two big initiatives we're kind of taking on. The first, and this is going to sound crazy to everyone else up here at the front of the table, but when I started my position here a year and a half ago, it was a brand new position. They had no way of tracking ticketing sales or creating leads. They had no ticketing software platform at all. That was one of my big projects last year, was building this platform and finding a vendor that we can work with so that way we can start to track down information on who's purchasing our tickets and looking at buying trends and areas where we can exploit and creating sales leads for future seasons. So one of the big things we're doing right now is trying to figure out ways where we can capture this information for the people coming to RMU sporting events. We rely heavily on walk-up ticket sales rather than advanced purchase sales. So we're taking on a lot of initiatives where we can offer pricing breaks to people that purchase tickets in advance, so that way we can track their information a lot better. And then one of the big things that you might see change here in the next year or two is moving away from our student tickets, just coming up to games and just showing your ID and picking up your ticket, for you to be able to go online and log in and print your ticket like you would at a Pitt sporting event for a student. That way we can start to track which students are coming to games, how many times you're coming to games, and that way we know who we want to reach out to after you graduate to try and get you to purchase those tickets and come back and, like we said, feel a part of the RMU family. The other thing I would say is, how many of you have seen the Facebook ads this year on your Facebook for RMU promo items like giveaways and things like that? Has anyone? That surprises me because it's popping up in a lot of feeds. If you like the RMU page, we're coming up and we're getting... I just got the marketing results the other day, and they were astronomical compared to what the normal rate of return on that type of marketing ad is, because we don't normally see that here at RMU. That was one of the big initiatives that we started doing here, was paid advertising on Facebook and Instagram to try and get out to the market. We do a lot of cool promo items, like I said, giveaways, to try and entice people to come to games, but a lot of times people don't know about it. So those are kind of the two big things that we're working on here at RMU, and we'll look at this offseason to really investigate what the return was for us.
With the Penguins, I'm sure you guys are all aware about our Student Rush program. Over the last couple years, we took that from waiting outside prior to the games to going completely online. Did that sort of as a way to get the students more involved and rather not skip classes and still be able to come and enjoy the games as much as possible. That program is something we tweak and look at every year. The availability, whether it's the process and how we do it. I know some games this year have gone on sale a day or so ahead of time just to make sure that you guys as students still have the ability to take advantage of it. Something else that we have recently started is mobile ticketing. And not only mobile ticketing, but paperless ticketing. A lot of professional sports teams are going the paperless route, where you get a card with a QR code, and that's your ticket for the season. You don't need to worry about anything else. If you need to forward your tickets or print them up, you can go online through Ticketmaster and just take care of that. So we're noticing a lot of trends going that way as well, where you guys can fans and season ticket holders can just manage everything themselves, not worry about needing to have their tickets. Did they leave them home on their way out of the door or anything like that? Just have a card in your wallet and you're good to go. Yeah.
I'll be the first one to ask a question. I know a couple of years ago they started doing that with the suites, the cards, the markets you swipe in to get into the suites.
Yes.
So they're like cards for the tickets.
Yes.
Season tickets.
Yes, and it's actually been pretty well received. I mean, we've had some season ticket holders who've had some issues with them, and they miss the paper tickets. But overall, the industry is going the paperless route, which is huge, and they're showing that they want to be more of a green industry. Something else we've recently brought out is the upgrade your game app through our Pens app. I think every sports team and organization has their own app, and through our app, you can upgrade, you can meet iceberg, take photos on the ice, just do different things that weren't available before. And you do that all from your cell phone in the arena right at game time. And a lot of people have really enjoyed that. And then in terms of sponsorship, we have created Pens Points, which is through a company with Loyaltree, a deal with Loyaltree, where through our deals with Dr. Pepper, Snapple, and I think Rivertown at one point, you would get codes. And you plug those in, you get points. As you accumulate points, you get free merchandise, autographed pictures, different experience activities as well. So I know that mobile, as crazy as it is the way that everything's going, and I think it's just going to blow up even more in the future.
For us at Pitt, there's a couple things that we've been looking at, and for quite some time. There's a ton of, I get inundated with emails or phone calls every day of, hey, I have the next best app for this, or next, to do this, and while it all seems great on the surface, you also have to make sure that, if you're going to implement something, if you're going to invest, that you make sure that you have the infrastructure to make sure that you're using it to the fullest advantage, and that you're being able to utilize those best practices. I can't tell you how many other schools or maybe even teams, they get an app rewards program, but it doesn't really take off because they really don't have anybody managing it or being responsible for it, because sometimes a lot of these programs or initiatives are pretty much a full-time job. So you have to definitely do your due diligence and your research on a lot of it. For one of the challenges that we have is the usage of tickets, both at football and basketball mainly. It's kind of frustrating when you see some empty seats there, and in the back of your mind, well, those seats are sold, but people just aren't coming and using their tickets. So we're looking at ways, some technology opportunities to reward our season ticket holders to actually use their tickets. And if it's not them, making sure that they're sending their tickets electronically, to somebody that is, or reselling them on the secondary market, which we have a partnership with StubHub. Another thing is what we need to do is we're trying to figure out and find out who our fans really are, what their behaviors are, what their purchasing habits are. When they're going to the concession stand, what are they buying? When they're buying tickets, what are they looking at as far as seat opportunities? So some of that stuff is like marketing automation that we're looking at. Paciolan, which is our ticket provider, has these opportunities at their disposal. But I go back to, again, we need the infrastructure to figure out who's going to manage these things. I'm sure you can all relate if you're doing some sort of online shopping, if you're going to Cole Haan and you're looking at shoes, and all of a sudden a day later, you end up getting an email saying, hey, finish your purchase. There's something, that's left in your shopping cart. Those types of things, that we need to take advantage, because there's plenty of other, pro teams and other college teams that are having great success at. So those are some of the things, and as it relates to fan engagement and our sponsorship, is kind of figuring out how we can engage our fans once we have them in the building, rather than just doing PA reads and things where the moment the whistle blows and you go to a timeout, all of a sudden you're taking out your phone and heads go down, and so that's something that we're also working on as well.
What future issues do you anticipate developing in the marketing and sponsorship area?
Chris just hinted at one of the things I had wanted to talk about. So, like when you go to a website and it says, "Hey, you have stuff in your cart, you need to finish your shopping." With our website, if you go to pirates.com and then say go to Home Depot, ads will follow you where you go for up to 4 days. So we can actually track what sites you're visiting and kind of have a marketing strategy towards them. How are we going to attract these people to buy? They may have just went to our website to look up the promotions, didn't buy, but then went to all these other different sites. So we can kind of gauge the type of buyer that we're looking at. So one issue with that is the rules are so lax, there really aren't any rules to it, but I could foresee in the next 5 to 10 years, if not sooner, that there's some restrictions, additional restrictions. Maybe it's not 4 days. Maybe it's we won't know the data. Maybe it's we will only know up to 2 days or something like that. So on the marketing side of things, with the website, I think that could be one of the issues we foresee in the future. On the sponsorship side, we're getting asked more and more from our sponsors, how can we adequately value their investment to us? What is their return on investment? So it's easy for in-park signage. We can say, hey, last year we had 2.4 million fans in the ballpark. 2.4 million people saw this ad on the video board or ad on the outfield wall. But then when we're selling, say, our handbills whenever you walk into the game and ad into there, how are we guaranteeing them that people are actually seeing that ad? So that's probably the issue on the sponsorship side that's getting more difficult for us, is trying to prove the value there. Not just taking their logo and placing it on something, actually showing them the value does exist. So with marketing and sponsorship, those are the two areas that we foresee the biggest issues for.
Yeah, the one big issue I'd say for marketing from our standpoint is going to be that, the budget isn't always growing. You're only going to have X amount of dollars, and when it does grow, it's not going to grow exponentially. And where are you going to spend those dollars? And taking what they were talking about and finding your target market and where you can actually get the best return on your investment from is kind of one of the big issues that I think that we're always constantly looking at. As far as the sponsorships go, here at Robert Morris, we're really trying to push towards getting multi-year agreements now, whereas in the past, when we really just kind of started about 5 years ago, pushing for sponsorships and getting athletic sponsorships, everything was on a 1-year contract basis. And now we're really trying to get people to commit to the athletic department on a bigger scale and say, we're going to make this investment for multi-years as we move forward because we really believe in what you guys are doing there. So that's kind of one of the big pushes that we're doing.
I'm sort of going to go with what Dan said a little bit earlier, and I don't know if Dan and the Steelers have noticed this, but as the Pirates have gotten better, whether it be sales or sponsorship dollars that people are looking to spend with us, they're starting to really think their purchases and starting to go over to the Pirates and really start investing over there. Sports is definitely very up and down sales-wise, whether it be sponsorship dollars or ticket sales. As the teams go down, sales go down. As the teams are climbing their high, people jump over to that other team. And that's something that you deal with on a daily basis. One thing I would have to really say, though, is that you find ways to overcome that. I think the last couple of years, the teams themselves have formed relationships and show that we're all united in this city, which is a big benefit to everyone involved. So.
I think one area, I don't like to use the word issue, but is how sponsors are choosing to use their dollars. And what I mean by that is I kind of go back to my comment before about content is, you see a lot of the sponsorship dollars not really being, they don't necessarily want the tickets. They're not really looking to utilize the dollars that they've had in the past, and the Penguins and Pirates do a lot of this with, like fan giveaway items, they'd rather spend that money elsewhere. And a lot of that is social media, content, the fan engagement side of things. So it's almost kind of being taken away from the fan experience at the actual game. We put out a survey at the end of our football season, and one of the questions was, and this went to season ticket holders, mini package holders, alumni, former season ticket holders, and we just asked them, what can we do to improve the fan experience, to improve, getting more butts in the seats? And it was an open-ended question. We wanted, the feedback. And 41 or 42% said fan giveaway items and promotions. And yeah, that's great, and I've been wanting to do that. But when you go to a sponsor and they say, yeah, we'd rather be focused here rather than doing some sort of giveaway item for 5,000 to 10,000 fans, they're seeing a higher value in putting those dollars elsewhere, whereas opposed to 5-10 years ago, with like bobbleheads. Even though bobbleheads is, I think, Major League Baseball is the #1 giveaway, and I forget how many teams ended up doing those. But they're not looking to do that much anymore. So we have to react to that and figure out, all right, how can we, what can we do? If it's not coming from the sponsors, what can we do to proactively stay in front of that? And I think just kind of going back to the content as well, I just see that again, continuing to take off, and I don't think it's necessarily an issue, but for us is making sure, how do we keep up with what the other schools are doing. With the Power 5 schools, you have other programs specifically in the ACC. You have schools like Clemson and Florida State. Clemson does a tremendous job from a digital standpoint, but they also have a staff of 6 to 8. We have a digital staff of like 2 right now. So, granted, when they're winning, national championships and their budgets are certainly a lot higher, how do we, compete against those? We're not necessarily competing against fans, but we're also competing for eyes, we're competing for ears, but we're also competing, trying to get the best student athletes, the best recruits to choose us and not choose them.
So we have one more question before we get into general questions from all of you. As Alex mentioned, I got the opportunity to work alongside him for about 1.5 years, and it's been amazing. And just the growth individually that I've been able to at least see in myself, it's been amazing. So that kind of leads into the last question. What opportunities do you have for everyone in here in regards to internship and professional development?
Internships, if you head to careers.pirates.com, all of our available internships are there. We usually hire spring, summer, and fall interns. Our internship for special events just went up last week. So yeah, all of our positions are on our website to apply online.
Yeah, like Ryan mentioned, he's worked for us for the past 1.5 years, and we kind of just found him through networking, through other students that have worked for us previously. The one big thing I'd say is if you send me an email and you're looking for something to do, I'll certainly find something for you to do, or for you to have something that you can work on. We're going to lose a lot of our student help that I know I rely on heavily for our ticket operations department. This year, a lot of them are graduating. So when we come back in the fall, I know I'm going to be looking for at least 3, 4, 5 very reliable students that can spend some hours in the office working for us, as well as working a lot of the games and events. So like I said, shoot me an email. If you want my contact information, I can give you a business card here when we leave, and we can try and set something up.
Just like the Pirates, the Penguins do offer an internship program. We do fall, spring, and summer. Fall and spring are definitely the most sought after with the season. Summer's a little bit more laid back. All departments do have interns, whether it be media relations, corporate sales, even game night entertainment, so you can sort of see the inside workings of everything. Also sort of different, we do have an arena side as well. So AEG does potentially or sometimes post part-time positions. Penguins has part-time game night positions. And like I stated earlier, we just started up a part-time sales staff as well that we have are in the process of staffing up. All job opportunities for the Penguins can be found on Teamwork Online.
At Pitt, we have a marketing academy where, it's only open for Pitt undergraduates, but those positions are throughout the year. In addition to that, we do have 2 paid internship positions, which is kind of unheard of. When you think internship, mostly it's volunteering. But they are paid positions. We have 2 that are going to be opening up at the end of the spring semester, and both of them are on, wait for it, the digital side. So, one is a design internship. The other is on really like digital, as far as our website maintenance, emails. We send a lot of emails, not only to students, but to our fans and season ticket holders. So there's kind of those 2 digital sides. But then we also are open to other internship programs too, mainly due to the fact that, being a, with the university, rules and everything with HR, credit is required for classes, unfortunately. However, if there's opportunities, we have a lot of students from, Robert Morris. We have students from Point Park that, kind of job shadow us a lot. And those have kind of led into other opportunities. Ryan has my permission to, send out my contact information. I don't think I have enough business cards for everybody in this room, especially considering we're transitioning from our Pitt block logo to our Pitt script logo in a couple months. So I'm kind of low on business cards right now, and I can't get the new one with the new logo yet, so I got to wait on that. But yeah, please feel free if you'd like to share my information, or you can find my information on PittsburghPanthers.com.
Does anyone have any questions? Can we use the microphone? Yep. Yeah, it should be. So whenever you guys just ask your question, just stand up, say your name, and then what year you are. And your height is optional.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm Sam Anthony. I'm a freshman sport management major, and my question's for Alex, actually. I'm always just curious, working with ticketing. What do you guys do to market outside of Robert Morris? You guys try to market to like Moon High School or like people in the community?
One of the big things, we do initiatives where we do get radio ads. We do radio advertisement with iHeartRadio. We do our coaches shows that are at different sponsors throughout the local area, where we try and draw people in to come to those events. Other than that, we really are trying to vamp up our student base, because we think that's where our population is going to grow, where we can get an attachment, because most of the RMU students are pretty local and they stay local. So we're trying to grow the fan base from that perspective. But from those regards, it's just building a brand name around our sports teams. So our men's basketball team making the NCAA tournament last year, it really goes a long ways here in getting a lot of publicity in the newspaper, because we don't get a lot of money to spend towards marketing in those areas. And just putting up like billboards, like you can see the one big one right off of 376 near Robinson that says "Welcome to Colonial Country." So just building that awareness that RMU is here. We know we're not on the scale of a Pitt or a lot of the other programs, but we do try to be the best that we can be here at RMU, and understanding what we are and being a part of the local community from that perspective.
Anyone else have any other questions?
I have a question for you guys. Show of hands. So you said you were a freshman. How many freshmen are in the room? Well, I applaud you for being here as a freshman. Sophomores, juniors, and seniors. All right, with the seniors, no, I didn't keep your hands up there. All right, there we go. How many of you are going to grad school next year or planning on it? Where are you looking at?
I'm going for sports psychology, actually, so University of Miami, Ohio.
Okay. Have you been accepted? No. Okay. Well, good luck. And then there was another one in the back. Okay, great. Well, make sure that, certainly, being here is definitely kind of, certainly the first step. But for those, seniors and even the juniors, in the room, definitely right now is the appropriate time, to be looking. One of the things that I would certainly recommend, kind of going back to another question that we had, is, definitely invest in yourself as well. Take advantage of any opportunities, if it's the Career Center with, getting some resume help, making sure, it's, the clean look, and also any sort of, interviewing opportunities where they're, able to do mock interviews. I would highly recommend doing that as well. Any practice, kind of leading up to the first thing. I remember one of my first interviews, was very nerve-wracking, and but I did have some practice beforehand, so I would definitely take advantage of any resources that you do have here on campus to prepare yourself for that.
Okay, Dave Sunoka, Department Head of Sports Management, Robert Morris University. Quick questions for each of the panelists. If you're a hiring manager, what are 3 things that you're looking for in a candidate if they're applying for a position with your organization?
That's the tough part with me, is with a resume, everything looks the same. So it's actually trying to have that one person stand out. I always like to tell this story. One of our full-time parrot performer, he's now the mascot for the Chicago Cubs. When he applied for our position, that's whenever he had to send in paper resumes. We didn't have anything online. And he had a folder with batting gloves on top of it. And when you open it up, on the inside it said, "You're not going to want to take your hands off this resume." That still resonates with me, and that was probably 8 to 10 years ago. So being creative in your networking will kind of help. But the 3 things that stand out to me is personality. You have to have a great personality. Communication skills is huge. And then when you ask certain questions, you can kind of gauge what their work ethic's like. Another side story, my uncle, he grew up working for my grandfather, who was a plasterer. He went to interview for a position. They asked him what his background information was. He told him that he was a plasterer. He got the position just because of the hard work. You can already tell because of the job that he had, the hard work that he'll put through for this effort or this job as well. So those would be the 3 things that stand out for me in a candidate.
Yeah, the 3 things that I would probably say I would look for is 1, your work experience, especially while you are a student in school. Were you proactive? Were you out there, trying to find internships or gaining any little experience that you can get rather than just working a summer job as a lifeguard? Another thing would be your communication skills. One of the big things that I'm constantly checking my email throughout the course of the day. How responsive are you to me? Are you getting back to me within 30 minutes? Or are you getting back to me within a week? So those are kind of the big things. And the other thing would be being proactive, in your mindset. Are you going to wait for me to tell you to do something, or are you going to be the type of person that's going to go out there and come up with ideas on your own? And I'll just go as far as say is one of the person that hired me here at Robert Morris University. I don't know if you know him, Matt Millar. One of the big things he said to us after he hired myself for my position is, and it kind of resonated with me in our department, is this someone I can see myself spending time with outside of work? Because you spend about 70 to 80 hours with them a week here during the season. Is this someone that I can tolerate and I can be around? Do they have that personality that they're that type of person that can understand the stress that comes with working in the sports world?
Having just sort of gone through this process and still sort of going through it, I can tell you the first thing that we've noticed is that people haven't updated their resumes and don't attach cover letters when applying online. If you don't attach a cover letter, we can't tell much about you other than what you put on that piece of paper. We can't tell if you have a good personality or how you have good communication skills. So make sure if you're applying online, make sure you have that cover letter. Make sure it's addressed to the right people, looking for the right job. I couldn't tell you how many resumes I received that said they were looking for jobs with the Minnesota Timberwolves or Major League Baseball or a PNC Bank. And it had nothing to do with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So make sure you're gearing your cover letter to the right people, updating that resume. Trying to think, when you come in for your interview, make sure that you're dressed professionally, handle yourself well, don't get flustered. I mean, as an interviewer, we can sort of tell that, and we expect a little bit of nerves. Don't feel bad. Don't feel that, you're not gonna impress us. You're there for an interview for a purpose. You've already impressed us enough for us to even want to bring you in. And then I think the last one is definitely the work experience, whether it be volunteer, internship, anything. Just make sure you have that work experience, because that's going to help you stick out above anything else. It doesn't necessarily even need to be in the sports industry. You could be working as a bartender at a restaurant or a server at a restaurant. Right there, that shows you have communication skills and you can multitask, along with going to school. So you know how time management. Anything like that will stick out. It doesn't necessarily need to just be sports related on your resume or experience-wise.
Yeah, Nicole brings up a great point, that last part. Certainly a lot of the positions that you will be applying for, or you are applying for, are mostly entry-level positions. Don't think that the hiring managers, I'll use Nicole as an example, for like an inside sales position or a sales executive position that, I don't want to speak for you, but is necessarily like looking for somebody that has 2 or 3 years of ticket sales experience. From my point of view is, I can teach you how to sell, or I can teach you how to, do what you're, responsible to do. But definitely, having shown that you have the willingness to, not only, be able to manage schoolwork, but also a, part-time job, or, at least, some stuff during the summer, and to Nicole's point, and, some sort of relatable field. The other thing that I look for too is that candidates that have done their homework, that come prepared with appropriate questions, for not only face-to-face interviews, but at least phone interviews. Usually phone interviews aren't necessarily, you just get a random call and it's, hey, I want to interview you right now. You get to, set up a time and date. So do some research. Ask who's going to be in their interview, so that you can do some sort of research about those individuals as well. At least know some of the background, because you might not know that person that you're interviewing with could be an RMU grad, or may have been in the same fraternity or sorority as you, or something like that. So at least you can have some instant connection, whether it's on the phone or the face-to-face interview. So those are just a couple, points that I wanted to point out. But then also, certainly, the attitude, work ethic, that's kind of hard to determine, in a face-to-face interview or on a phone interview. But you can kind of, tell, or you can even see that in the individual's resume as well.
Anyone else?
Hi, my name's Ross Byrne. I'm a junior. My question's for Dan. I was having a discussion with my professor about price promotions in baseball season and when it's best to offer them. And do you find that people that attend games during the week have a bigger price sensitivity when it comes to baseball?
Yeah, I mean, we have what we started this year or last year was dynamic pricing of all our tickets, and we've noticed that on the weekends, obviously, there's a higher demand, a higher ticket price. During the week, there's a lot more availability that we can have. So I think a lot of people, would like to go to those games when they can, but it's difficult, especially the time of the year and the weather. When we have 13 games in a row, it's kind of tough to sell all the games out. But yeah, we definitely have more availability during the week. Did that answer your question? No? Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks.
All right, I guess that just wraps it up. We're going to do our raffle really quick, but how about a round of applause for our 4 panelists? The first ticket that we're going to draw is for a t-shirt, and then the second one's for a phone case.